FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction was developed by Team 6 Game Studios and published by Strategy First exclusively for PC in 2011.
If you're unfamiliar, FlatOut was a series of demolition derby racing games that were jam-packed with tons of action, stunts, and vehicular madness.
Now that I think of it, there sure are a lot of racing games with the word out in their title.
I have absolutely no idea what you mean.
Unlike vehicle games of the time that focused on racing your car in boring circles, FlatOut attempted to change up the format by introducing driver catapulting events that were not only fun, but freaking hilarious.
Oh shit! This is fun.
Flinging drivers out of a car at top speed was pure, unadulterated joy, but the physics and destruction didn't stop there. In FlatOut, vehicles could be damaged and warped, altering the feel of movement and adding a fun challenge.
It was all unique, it was all cool, and it all worked.
The studio responsible for these unique, cool games was Bugbear Entertainment. They'd made FlatOut 1 and 2, as well as a remaster of FlatOut 2 for the Xbox 360, PC, and even managed to squeeze a port out on the PlayStation Portable.
Things seem to be going well for this frantic physics-based series, and as one would expect when something's a success, it changed developers.
Yup. In 2009, the FlatOut property was purchased from publisher Empire Interactive by New World IP. With this, developer Bugbear was cut out of the loop, and the series' new owners seemed to want to take the franchise in a new direction.
Enter Team 6 Game Studios, developers of such outstanding titles as Glacier 3 The Meltdown, Monster Trucks Mayhem, Speed.
Open your door!
No, not that speed, this speed, very different. And of course, the world famous Calvin Tucker's Redneck Farm Animals Racing Tournament with a piggy driving a tractor. Oink.
Woo! They clearly knew their way around a racing game.
The first FlatOut game they released? FlatOut 2010 on Wii, an original game that, aside from the name, has absolutely nothing to do with the games that came before it. Although, it is somehow very familiar.
We probably should mention that in the same year FlatOut was released, Team 6 also finished 5 other racing games, all done with a relatively small team. But you can't tell, can ya?
Oink. This company seems to be cranking out the same game over and over again with just enough changed to make it seem new. Take our word for it. These are all low-quality games, each one bland and unappealing, like a frozen pizza left out on the sidewalk to reheat. Is it delivery? No, it's shit.
So why did FlatOut's new rights holders part with Bugbear to replace them with the same group that made this? Well, we don't know for sure, but we have one guess.
Money, money, money!
Money! How many monies is it?
Money, 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 money. People knew FlatOut, so they'd likely buy the next entry expecting that same quality, unaware that a scam was afoot. All of these games are shovelware, plain and simple, and FlatOut for Wii is no different. On any other day, it would be the game that we talk about for this entire episode, but this wasn't the only FlatOut game Team 6 developed.
The Wii version of FlatOut was passed over by its core PC audience, leaving longtime fans waiting patiently for the next entry. Unfortunately for them, a brand new, fully equipped FlatOut PC game would soon arrive, funded by greed and pure evil.
Gentlemen, I've come to make a videographic game utilizing the IP of FlatOut that I deviously acquired. To achieve this goal, I shall fund the project with this $10 bill that I have in my pocket. What do you say?
Sure thing, Mr. Satan.
And just like that, a single year after the release of FlatOut Wii, we got this.
FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction.
As of this recording, this game is not only listed as the absolute worst rated racing game on Steam, but it's also one of the worst rated games of all time on the platform.
It's ranked below Fast and Furious Crossroads, Jerry Rice and Nidus's Dog Football, The Quiet Man, Left Alive, Rogue Warrior? It's even below Daikatana? Daikatana?
Oh, there's no way. That's almost all the games we've covered on this show. And somehow it sits below all of them?
Well, it's time to find out. Let's explode from the starting line and smash through a windshield with reckless abandon in FlatOut 3. Chaos and Destruction.
The game starts up directly at the title screen. No intro, no company logos. No one wants to take responsibility for what we're about to play.
You can choose between single player or multiplayer, but don't bother with multiplayer because this game hasn't seen anyone online since, well, probably ever.
But don't worry, you'll have plenty to do in good old single player.
That's right. There are 10 game modes to pick from. A whole big wheel of fun. Some of them are even unique to FlatOut 3.
Let's begin with the first mode, Race. What better way to really figure out what this racing game is all about?
When you select a stage to race, you also get to pick a vehicle. But, they look like they're all completely destroyed already. Isn't the appeal of these games banging up your car mid-race? Why would they come pre-demolished?
I've got a wild guess. Burnout Paradise, which was released 3 years earlier, famously featured wrecked cars that you could repair in the game world. I'm gonna assume they saw that vehicle selection style and cloned it here.
So very original.
You can choose a car, change their skin, and also tune them. But let's hold off on that tuning thing until later.
But we're not done yet. Once you've selected a car, you can choose a driver.
All of which are purely cosmetic. They offer no advantages over one another. Heck, there aren't even cutscenes or story beats attached to these characters to add value to your choice.
So let's go through some of our very personal favorites.
Bob Slayer. Well, that's the look of a guy who's been arrested selling drugs at the playground.
Bob Earl Homer Deluxe, named like a yearly Street Fighter revision.
Waze Sam Lander. Oh, that name sounds like word vomit soup.
Unknown Player. Didn't even really name this character, did they?
34 rupias. Did they mean rupees? The Southern Asian currency?
If it is, we did the math. Current exchange rates applied, 34 rupees is about 45 cents, making this a definitively cheap knockoff of 50 cent.
Oh yeah, and who could forget? An entire sexualized occupation jamboree.
But what's even more fun? Read what some of these characters' backstories are.
Justin Case. Stalking the shadows, Justin always attacks from an unexpected angle. This former hitman is often called a cowardly backstabber, but he claims it's professional caution.
A hitman? What are they introducing a hitman for? Nobody gets killed in these games. Zin Benzin. Some people say that Zin lives on gasoline and oil fumes. No one has ever seen him rest or eat. Some even say he might be a cyborg. But no AI can possibly drive that good, right?
Wait, you're seeing this too, right? That's Vin Diesel from the Chronicles of Riddick.
They knew Riddick didn't race cars, right? That's an entirely different family of Vin Diesel movies.
And Zin Benzin? Guys, seriously? You just took out the V from Vin's name and replaced it with a Z.
And benzin is just German for gasoline. Vin Gasoline.
Ik heb veel family.
Ufer Bull. As a former Hollywood stunt driver, Ufer always knows how to make a spectacular show. All of his shows end with a big bang.
That looks like Agent 47, but with a modified name of the infamous film director Uwe Boll. I don't even understand how these two things are related.
Zario the Mechanic. Zario is a likable, chubby Italian who likes to tinker his opponent's cars. It is said that many of these cars have the tendency to explode in the middle of a race.
Can you guess who Zario is supposed to be?
This would be fun if he didn't look exactly like adult film star Ron Jeremy.
Yes, we know. Silent Enor, the winner from the previous FlatOut game, has returned. Will he be able to win again?
Yeah, okay, this is stupid. There's no story in the previous FlatOut games. There never was a canonical winner, and there most certainly wasn't a character called Silent Enor.
In fact, if you played Team 6's previous FlatOut on Wii, none of the cars actually had drivers in them.
Nobody's at the wheel, just like the development of this game.
Or maybe someone is? Take a closer look at that name and flip it around, and you'd get Ronnie Nellis.
That's the CEO and lead designer for Team 6 Game Studios. Nobody cares!
Silent Enor may have one worst named character in the game, but then we found this.
Xmas 2011? Living on the North Pole, it didn't take her brains long to freeze. Now she thinks she can fly just like Santa.
What? How is that a backstory?
She thinks she can fly like Santa The reindeer fly, not the fat guy!
Yeah, no surprise her brains froze over. That clothing is not climate appropriate for the North Pole. FlatOut 3 did come out in December of 2011, so she's in all likelihood a reference to the release date of the game.
We haven't gotten into gameplay, and this is already a disastrous eruption of dumb.
The original series didn't have character selection, period. You picked your car and off you went. All of this madness, this is all Team 6. But the gameplay for this once impressive franchise can't be that bad, right?
We've delayed this long enough. Let's finally try out our first race in the suburbs of Detroit.
Oh no, oh gosh, oh boy. This has some problems.
Folks, we've been playing racing games before on this show. You've likely seen them. When we say that no racing game we've ever played has controlled as badly as this, we desperately want you to understand where we're coming from.
One race is all we've taken in, and this game hides none of its faults. Like a busted fire hydrant erupting a torrent of water onto the street or overflowing with FlatOut gripes. With just this one race, we can tell you
The car feels like it weighs 40,000 pounds.
you cannot turn properly.
You cannot brake properly.
Dry roads feel slick with baby oil.
The physics of every single thing are totally inaccurate.
The boost messes up your handling.
The AI drivers are missing the I in AI.
Your vehicle can get stuck just about anywhere.
You can drive through obstacles that will clip directly through your car.
The damage system they designed doesn't calculate damage properly.
Unlike other FlatOut games, if you crash your car, the driver sometimes disappears instead of flying out.
Most drivers are brain dead, but some get unnaturally fast to surpass you and win races.
To top it all off, despite this being the very first mode of the game, the difficulty is so extreme that we had to replay the opening level ad nauseum to squeeze out a win.
Folks, this is a very broken experience.
Oh no, clearly this was our fault. We simply didn't tune the car right.
Oh yeah, tuning from the car menu. What's it like?
When you attempt to tune any car, you get some strange display information with a copyright date on it, followed by automatic preset modifications.
Okay, don't really know what most of this means, but what does it actually, do?
Let's see. We compared a tuned car against a regular one, and
They handle and drive virtually identical. If there was any change, any difference at all, we could not find it.
FlatOut is first and foremost a racing series. The initial racing mode being this broken, that's a travesty. It's the one and only thing they needed to get right. What are the chances that the other modes are any better?
Not good. We said there were 10 game modes, and there technically are, but more than a few of them repeat the exact same levels and gameplay with very minor modifications.
We've seen Race in all its awful glory.
But there's also Speed, which is like Race, only now you're controlling F1 vehicles on large abandoned tracks. They handle just as badly, if not even worse. Despite this mode being labeled Speed, the cars don't seem to drive any faster than in the regular race mode.
Let's talk about another mode, Night Shift, which lets you race.
Oh, at night?
Yeah.
It seems to always be raining here. Always, even in tunnels where it shouldn't be raining. It's still raining.
The roads are shockingly more slippery than they were before, which is almost impossible to imagine due to how bad the cars controlled originally. But here it is in all its buttered up glory.
Then you've got off-road, which again is still just racing. But now you have red plumes of smoke for checkpoints that you need to hit. A lot of the original race modes already took you off-road. Now though, the cars have bigger wheels, making the physics and handling a trial. Your car controls like a greased up water balloon filled with bricks.
Some of these off-road races can last less than a minute. Really making sure you get your money's worth with this, aren't they?
Well, they definitely know how to get their money's worth out of the same gameplay over and over, because on top of this repetition, you'll find another mode called Challenge.
It's a mixture of every game mode played one by one, and most of them repeated completed races you've already done.
Of FlatOut 3's 10 game modes, 5 involve racing to a finish line, making half the entire game seem like an endless maze of mirrors.
They subject you to the same shoddy gameplay and level designs endlessly. With this kind of shoddy repetition, you can't help but notice all the awful details sprinkled everywhere.
Like this building. Now yes, from a distance, it looks fine, but drive up to it and you'll notice the front door is buried in the ground. The whole building is tilted forward.
Yeah, nice job. You laid your own 3D model down incorrectly in your own damn level.
And before anyone watching thinks that this was done on purpose, that this was some stylistic choice to show a building leaning over, the exact same building is duplicated right down the street and it's properly placed. Above ground and everything.
Racing in any form seems to be a bust.
But no worries, because this is a FlatOut game. The series had other popular modes.
Right, like Destruction Derby events. Curl your vehicle head on into others in a bid to rack up points and keep your heap running till the end.
In FlatOut 3, you've got 2 versions, Battle Arena and Big Battle. These are near identical and probably separated to pad out the number of game modes.
But still, destruction events were fun in the other FlatOut games. It's cars hitting cars, simple. And if the regular races are anything to go by, the AI should be amazing at this. How is it?
Total chaos! We already mentioned that during races, the damage calculation system is busted. And it is, but it's back in the demolition modes. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how much damage you take or inflict. The game assigns random values that go as low as 1%.
And if it wasn't bad enough already, this game is so broken we got knocked out of the playable game world and were left stranded outside the map, forever revolving as we tumbled through infinity.
Oh, this happened more than once.
We know this looks funny, but it stops being humorous when the game gets locked and you need to manually reset the event.
And it's not like you can avoid getting rammed by other cars. It's a destruction derby, folks. You're gonna get hit.
And the cars in this game, they're attracted to you.
No, not like that. We mean like you're a magnet for destruction. The AI drivers are unified in one goal: hit your freaking car every single time.
Not other AI competitors, just you lucky duck.
They're relentless. It stops being fun very quickly.
Some destruction derby arenas add an extra layer of terrible to all this. Here's a stage where a platform is perpetually hoisted up by helicopters. You'd think that when a car tumbles from this platform that they'd be out of the running, right?
Nope! They respawn indefinitely. And guess what? Being the magnetic derpy dope you are, if you fall off, this means tons of your competitors fall off chasing you. This leads to tons and tons of vehicles respawning around, on top, and even inside your vehicle. Look at this.
The platform you're driving on has holes in it, big ones, that your car can fit through.
If you fall off the edge, there's a chance the game will spawn you over top one of these freaking holes continually, again, and again, and again, and a freaking again.
But for every other stage, the ones that aren't floating in the sky, oh boy, do we have a strategy for you.
Want to know what it's like when you've played as many bad games as we have, having acquired untold quantities of tainted knowledge regarding the inner workings of these cursed joyless experiences? Well, let us take you on a journey through Shane and Adam's nightmare world of broken game logic.
We know all the AI drivers are gonna pile on. We know the handling and physics systems are a mess. We know that the damage in this mode isn't calculated properly.
Broken on top of busted on top of wrong. We took all that into consideration and came to one fantabulous strategic conclusion. You ready? Don't touch anything.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Let all the vehicles pile up. Let them try to hammer you into oblivion. If you don't move, they'll eventually knock you into a corner or hit you hard enough that they'll be bouncing around like pinballs.
By not tapping the accelerator or hitting the brake, the broken damage system thinks that you're the one hitting the other drivers instead of the other way around. You get all the points.
If you're lucky, you'll get flipped onto some idiot's car like this. Then you can ride the smashy idiot wave to Damageville and rack up insane points. You're crushing their car while the cars around you can't hit you directly. Perfection.
What can we say, folks? Play these kinds of games long enough and you become Neo, peering into the dark void of madness and seeing nothing but code.
This method might not work every time, but when it does work, it will break the game's high score records.
So there, Destruction Derby is a total write-off because what's that famous line from War Games?
Strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
But the FlatOut series has another mega popular gameplay section, Stunt Mode, a true staple of the series. I'd argue it made FlatOut stand out from other destruction-based games like Burnout.
And it's right here in FlatOut 3's Stuntman mode.
We start by choosing whatever character we dislike the most, since we're gonna see them get tossed around and horrifically mangled.
Let's pick just in case. He happens to have a face we'd like to punch.
Okay, so this is a target level. Your goal is to land your driver in the center red circle. To do this, you drive in such a way that you can jettison your driver out while avoiding obstacles that knock you off course.
Huh, seems simple and fun. So how'd they screw it up?
What the hell is that?
Is that his trench coat? Looks like the tail's locked tight to some other location.
That's, strange. Probably a random glitch in this stage. Let's try another.
How about another?
Another.
Again!
Oh my god. They didn't calculate the trench coat physics properly. It happens on every stage, every time.
How could you miss that? It's the first character in the roster.
They even messed up Justin's voice. They're using one of the other characters' default hurt sounds with his character model.
Good gravy.
Okay, wow, right. Sure, it looks and sounds janky, 'cause it is, but is it at least fun to play?
What do you think? The physics are just that broken, people. The thing that once separated FlatOut from its competitors is completely and totally busted here.
There are all sorts of obstacles, objectives, and layouts presented here for points. Sometimes you need to accumulate damage or get your driver stuck in a hole or destroy a certain number of objects. Sounds simple, but of course, it's not that easy.
Especially when you hit a wall like this. Welcome to a level called Evading Customs. The stupid stage took forever to complete.
The goal is to drive your car at top speed, fly in the air, hit a second island, blow up your car, and use stiff in-air movement to land your driver in shipping containers for points. You need to gain enough points to win the stage. Thing is, landing in most containers doesn't get you an ample score.
The physics are very, very busted, leading to visually awkward jittering effects that are uncomfortable to watch.
I'm a scat man.
It's not just the physics that fail. The literal ground beneath your tires breaks as well. Cruise along, and bam! Stops you dead in your tracks.
Not once, not twice, not thrice, not fifth.
You just can't trust anything to work, especially when you're trying to find out how to get past this stupid level.
So how do you beat it? Well, if you're like us, you'll need to accidentally discover that one unmarked container has a higher value than any other, making it the only shipping container you should be aiming for. Great.
And like a mangled corpse flung to some confusing end, FlatOut 3 tosses players to a bunch of questionably rendered real-world locales.
Detroit, Utah, Kansas.
But in stunt mode, you go to a very, very special place.
Hell,
Yep.
Why in the world did they pick this place?
Tourism has been down lately, and because I did fund your game, I think it would be fun to have you show off what the underworld is like. Is your team capable of capturing the horrors and despair of my kingdom of sin?
Sure thing, Mr. Satan.
These levels are tinted blood red, featuring such demonic and horrifying tortures as
Crashing your car and falling down a really large flight of stairs. That's not really hell-like, is it? It's just stairs.
Pretty much all the levels are uninspired, cheap even, lacking anything fun, much like the rest of the stunt levels found above ground.
Seems like the devs like spooky stuff so much that they even introduced a zombie mode called FlatOut.
Imagine, if you will, every level from the entire game repeated, this time with bashable zombies for points.
Oh, I know. Some of you think that this can't help but be fun, but boy, do we got news for you. This game takes the trope of zombies being slow and stupid to a whole new level.
The zombies just stand there. In each level, you're driving over virtually static targets with a time limit so vast that you'll never lose.
They could have stuffed the levels with an ocean of zombies, making it at least a gory visual treat to plow through.
But nope, just sparse numbers of evenly spaced out zombors in a line that you follow.
But of course, even this mode had to have problems.
Sometimes the zombies will be floating in the sky. Flybees, I call them.
You won't be able to hit them because your vehicle isn't tall enough. I don't even understand how you could screw this up, and it happens all over.
This mode is so devoid of fun, your mind will wander and you'll start to notice other little details, like a broken zombie animation that phases through a floating box, back and forth, again and again.
Those of you who are patient enough to stick with it, there is a reward for completing all of what FlatOut 3 has to offer. New vehicles. These can be used in every other game mode.
We used vehicles that we won in separate modes to our advantage. Remember how we had major problems with the races in this game? Simply use a car that was never meant for the race in the first place. Competition obliterated.
It's not, completely easy. You're still dealing with a mountain of inept design problems, but at least now, with a car that goes faster than light, you've got some kind of bizarre chance.
You can use a splat-out car with a giant drill on the front.
Or a bus, for the handling.
Or heck, why not take out the tumbler variant to the Batmobile from the Dark Knight trilogy and race it against a bunch of F1 types in speed mode and completely destroy your competition?
Because in this Bat Guano crazy universe, the super heavy Batmobile is faster than stripped down lean mean racers tuned to ultra fast perfection.
Once you've unlocked this sucker, it's about as close to an instant win as you'll get. The tumbler knocks vehicles off the road with disregard and totally unbalances every race.
I am the knight!
With all the stupid physics and busted mechanics, it feels like a cartoon world racing game. If you ever wondered what the Fast and Furious movies would look like if Batman was racing in them, this is the game for you.
I don't have friends. I got family.
My parents are dead!
But the best part is when you use vehicles that have no business being in this game at all.
Like what?
A tank.
A tank?
A tank. Oh, and it doesn't just look like a tank. It fires like one.
There is no ammo limit, and the damn thing can actually go faster than most cars in the game. It's completely ridiculous. Unfortunately, because of the game's busted damage system, tank shots don't take out other racers 100% of the time.
Unless you're playing speed mode. See, you can fire shots even before the race has officially started. F1 racers are not prepared for this.
But the best use of the tank is during Destruction Derby.
Lay down the pain and take the win in the absolute cheapest way possible. Nobody has a chance. You'll win every single time.
As if this game didn't have enough modes and crazy vehicles, we also have to mention the Monster Truck mode. Surprise! These vehicles control like garbage and are bouncy as heck. But you don't race them. Instead, they front-load it with stupid and confusing minigames, like lighting tanks of oil on fire for some some bizarre reason.
Why are there arrows on every monster truck, including the one we're driving?
Monster trucks are the one vehicle that do not need to be pointed out with a positional arrow. They're f***ing monster trucks. They are the arrow.
What's notable about this mode is that it allows you to unlock monster trucks everywhere. Like every other vehicle, they populate into other game modes, meaning your competitors can get monster trucks too. This sounds like fun, but the AI doesn't seem ready for this.
Looks like at some point during the race, it smacked right into this tree here. It never responds. It never backs up. It just waits.
The game is riddled with bugs and errors, and it crashes a bunch as well. Who would have guessed? It's one janky mess.
Here's a stats screen that gives you a rundown of everything you've done, including time spent playing.
Even with a fresh install, the game reveals numbers like hours of gameplay you haven't come close to, or thousands of races you've won or lost that never happened.
It sure feels like we played 2,142.3333129883 races, but believe us, that number is not correct.
It's safe to say that nothing works correctly here. We were wondering how a game this bad could even happen. The previous FlatOut games should have offered a roadmap to a decent game experience. So what's up? How did it go wrong?
Well, I think we discovered the reason FlatOut 3 is the way it is, and it all goes back to the Wii. Remember how we said that FlatOut on the Wii is a totally different game from the original FlatOut? Well, it appears that once they went to make FlatOut 3 for PC, they didn't turn to the original PC game's assets. No, they instead made their game based on their own Wii version.
Oh no, they didn't.
My first clue came while I was looking at the main menu. The camera moves through the scenery and you see a gas station called Nico's Gas. In some game modes on the Wii, you can even get a better view of it off in the background.
Nico's Gas. Huh, that sounds familiar. Why do I know that?
Because we've all been looking at it the whole time. They use the same assets here in FlatOut 3's main menu, and again, while picking your vehicles.
It can't be!
But it is. Batman's tumbler was originally from FlatOut Wii. Silent Enor, despite not driving in any of the races, was the exact same ragdoll model that got flung out of the vehicles in stunt mode. Even the title music on the main menu is identical in FlatOut Wii. Listen to it.
But that's all they took, right? There can't possibly be more.
Oh no, there's more. We mentioned that Team 6 had made other games right at the start of this video, so I went back and played all of them. Remember their Wii game Speed? They made a strange hybrid sequel inside of FlatOut 3. That's why the F1 racing mode was called Speed. Even their other game, Glacier 3 The Meltdown, used the same checkpoint system as Off-Road. Red plumes of smoke. Go deeper into their past, you'll find Monster Trucks Mayhem. Remember the Monster Trucks? Well, they created a full game about them already. And look, here is a level from the game that is jammed right into FlatOut 3. It's the same thing. Do you get it? Do you know what this is?
No, don't say it.
We've been playing a secret Wii-centric asset flip ported to Steam on PC this entire time.
Hold up. You're telling me that you took all of your previous games, encapsulated them into one package, scamming not only me, but every other gamer in the entire world, and the only two people to ever notice this were these two idiots?
Yep.
Wow. That's actually pretty evil.
No wonder this thing runs like garbage roasting under the midday sun. This is a crappier version of multiple crappy Wii games.
It's the ultimate bad racing game because it's not just one bad racing game. Nothing is as complex as this. Its existence is birthed by a legacy of bad games formed into a megazord of gangly, deformed software.
Everything that went into creating the beloved FlatOut series sullied in a single release.
FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction is a lesson, an unbelievably surreal masterclass in how to destroy a once prominent and exciting franchise that was on the edge of becoming one of the most exciting racing game series ever.
But with this horrific entry in the series, FlatOut was roadkill.
No, actually, wait. It looks like they released a fourth game as well.
Huh? Really? Let's just start it up and have a look.
Figures. It's just bad.
Oh no! This wheel isn't attached to anything! Ah!